Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, continuing our series of faction wars where we are trying to complete every single faction in the game as a 100% free-to-play player. This is my free-to-play account. If you guys didn't know, I have a free-to-play series going, and that's kind of where I got the idea from. While I was doing my free-to-play series, I realized, well, I'm starting to do all the faction wars now, and I want to do some dedicated videos where I actually complete the stage 21 of each individual faction and get that first 3 stars done to ultimately get the Lydia. That is the main goal right now. So today we're going to be diving into Sacred Order faction. I'm going to show you my composition, the gear, the stats, everything that I use to beat this faction stage 21 as 100% free to play. So let's dive right into it. So the composition that I used was Lysworn, Aethel, Armiger, Deacon, and Cardial. So as you can see, we have a lot of buffs, we got a lot of revive on deaths, we got a lot of turn meter manipulation going, and that is going to be key in faction wars. As long as you can keep controlling the turn meter of the bosses, the waves fights, and also making sure that you're able to stay alive, whether it's revive on death or whether it's lifesteal gear or whatever you have available, that is going to be key to beat these factions. So starting with the Lysworn here, I do have him at 6 stars and I do have him in lifesteal gear. One thing I do want to know for faction wars, you don't have to have everybody at rank 6 and full masteries and full books. Obviously, that'll make the runs a lot easier. It'll make it quicker. It ultimately does come down to the proper gear and making sure you do the right abilities at the right time against those waves. So I have used Lysworn at 5 stars on my main account in the past, and that was completely fine. But him being at 6 stars, it definitely helps with the masteries portion because he can do a little bit more extra damage. But as far as his stats here, I'm not really trying to get him to do a lot of damage. So I have him built with enough accuracy to make sure he can land his debuffs. And also going a decent amount of speed. I would like to make them faster, but my gear on my free-to-play account is not that great. But you have to use what you got. So I can't really get him to more crit rate than he has right now. And yeah, the accuracy, the speed, that's pretty much all I really focus on. So I just want to make sure he can land the turn meter manipulation with his A1 ability. And moving on to the skills here, speaking of the A1, so he does hit 3 times here and decreases the target's turn meter by 10%, which is really handy. He also has an A2, which is really nice. Attack down, speed decrease, really handy, especially against a boss fight. And yeah, I usually use this to single out one champion I don't want to take the turn, like a Valkyrie or a Man-Eater or something like that. So that would be ideal for this right here, especially the boss. But the other thing he does bring to the table is, just in case your team is about to die, this is a really nice failsafe, and even just to have that increased defense is handy too. So yeah, Lysworn is a beast in faction wars. He's really great. For the masteries here, I have him going all the way down to the Giant Slayer, and I actually didn't complete his masteries, not yet anyway. I didn't really feel the need to get anything else here. Yeah, I can't really get anything else off of this, and yeah, I mean, that's all I have so far. So on to the next champion. We are going to go over to Aethel. So a lot of my champions might not be geared that well, and it's because I don't really need them to do much. So certain champions on my composition, they have one purpose, and I just needed anybody that was, I guess, that could put out some damage because she does have a master here, Giant Slayer. She's 6 stars, and her sole purpose was to just make sure she can land those stuns, and I didn't care how much damage she did. It didn't matter to me. It just, I wanted to make sure she can land those stuns and just try to control the waves as much as possible. She does have an A2 here that I can get back to quickly again because of the A3, and you'll see that in the video. But she also has an A1 where she does a triple hit, so that's multiple opportunities for me to land that stun as well. So we have her in a stun set, and the stats are not that great. Pretty slow, 160 speed, 207 accuracy, just enough to be able to land those weekend hits as well. And ideally you want to go for 235 accuracy in faction wars. Ideally, you want to go for like 235 accuracy if you can, especially on stage 21, because that is going to be the most efficient accuracy when you want to place your debuffs. So her speed is pretty slow, her attack is not that great, crit rate, crit damage, like everything is pretty mediocre. It's just, she's just there to stun, that's it. And I do have her fully buffed, but it's irrelevant. And I do have her in Giant Slayer. So this is my starter champion, and that's why I ended up using her. To the next champion then. So we have Armiger here, and him, I threw in a Relentless set because originally I had him in a lot of damage, which was okay, but the problem was I didn't really need him for the damage because I'll get to my other champion in a second because you guys are going to be surprised. And my armature was actually, I just wanted him to keep going as much as possible to reduce the turn meter on all the champions I can. So that is the idea here. The gear is not the best on him right now. 190 speed, enough accuracy. Ideally I want more, but I can't really push it. The speed, the defense, HP, these are not that great. The crit rate and crit damage is not that great. And onto the skills here, yeah, I mean, he does a lot of damage with this, but I don't really utilize this that much. The only time I utilize this is, I guess like there's times where they have reviving capabilities like the boss fight, and I do use this on one of the ads to help down it permanently. But the boss doesn't really get a turn much anyway, so it didn't matter. So we have the turn meter manipulation here, decrease the turn meter by 30% if this attack is critical. And I just noticed that my crit rate is not maxed out, but it still worked out for us. It's fine, because we do have a cardio, which I will get to in a moment. So yeah, and onto the masters here, I do have him built in War Master. It's going to help out with the damage a little bit. And onto the next champion, we have Deacon. So Deacon is going to be a cheat code. He is so insane, like in a lot of areas in the game, particularly Faction Wars. He's just so good. So what I did here was I threw some of my best speed gear that I had on this guy because I just wanted him to keep taking turns to get to his A2 and A3 quickly. And basically he does a lot of turn meter manipulating. But before we get to that, the stats we have is 241 speed, 215 accuracy. Again, it's enough to land, but it's not ideal. And the attack, the defense, this doesn't really matter. The crit rate doesn't matter, crit damage doesn't matter here. So just the accuracy, the speed, and I just want him to go really, really fast, and that's pretty much it. So for his abilities, he has a leech on the A1, which is huge. Huge. It's like basically having lifesteal set on everybody, right? If you hit that particular champion. For the A2, he has an AoE defense down. You know what? Before we get to this, let's go to the A3, because his A3 is basically like a Lysandra effect, where he's able to do a turn meter manipulation by filling your turn meters and also decreasing their turn meters, and then you get an additional turn off of that. So right after he uses this ability, he goes straight into this AoE defense down, and this is on a 2-turn cooldown basically. So I'm able to lap around really quickly and get back to this like every single time. And on top of that, he has a speed aura, 19% in all battles. Amazing, amazing champion. And I was originally using Bivald, but it just wasn't working out for me. So I actually ended up taking my Deacon that I recently pulled to 5 stars so I can make sure I have enough accuracy here with this. And I also booked them out, obviously. I don't have any masteries here, not much anyways. I did a little bit just to make sure I can land some accuracy. And for the books, I haven't fully booked out because he's totally worth it. So on to the final champion, the amazing, amazing damage carry. So I have cardio here in a savage set. Guys, this is a huge surprise to a lot of you because so my cardio actually does do pretty decent damage. He actually hits kind of hard. I don't know what his multipliers are, and I don't know if he's really viable as a damage dealer, but for what I'm doing with my account, he is, he's doing just fine. So the reason why I have him in a savage set is because I haven't built this way for my clan boss team. I have a 2-key Ultra Nightmare team, and I have him in a savage set. So that's just how I have the team built, and I decided to just use him as is. I don't want to regear him. But if I had to regear him, and if I went a different route, I would make him really, really fast, and then actually get more damage on like Armature or something like that, or maybe Aethel. So that would be the ideal scenario. But I went to build around this guy, and Cardio is such an amazing champion, game changer, huge champion. By the way, if you didn't know, Cardio was my first legendary champion that I pulled on my account, on this free-to-play account. It was on my second voice shard I've ever pulled. Yeah, it was like really, really early, but make sure to check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Free-to-play series. Okay, so onto the gear here. We do have him in Savage set, like I said, not that fast, 156, but this is tuned for my clan boss team once again. So 79% crit rates. He does have an increased crit rate for 30%. He does have 231% crit damage. I don't have him with resist or accuracy. Decent amount of attack. And that's pretty much it. I do have him fully booked out as well, but he's a really, really phenomenal champion. He also has a speed aura 19% in all battles. And for masteries, I have him built in War Master. And that's pretty much the composition I used. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. I'm going to be showing you the run where I 3-star stage 21 Sacred Order on this account with this exact same composition. And I'm also going to be doing a voiceover or a walkthrough with you guys to explain what I was thinking at the time. and maybe give you some guidance on why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm attacking this particular champion, or, you know, stuff like that. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and enjoy. Alright, so we're going to be starting it off with Deacon with the turn meter manipulation, and we're going to go into the AoE defense down, and we're just going to try to get all these champions down one at a time, but we do want to target the Broadma and Drake here because the Broadma does have a fill turn meters as well as revives, while the Drake has a lot of damage that it can put out. So we just want to take advantage of making sure we keep track of their turn meters. If one of them are stunned, then we don't have to target them already, we can just save them for later, and that's pretty much it for now. So I'm hesitating here, do I want to use that turn meter manipulation, because I noticed that they're all about to die really soon, and I could just save that for the next wave. So here we're just going to A1 all our abilities because we want to save all our cooldowns for the next fight. And this one is, we just have to A1 it down, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so here we do want to focus on the Maneater. There's actually a lot going on here. They have a Dracomorph, a Maneater, Steel Skull, Norog, and these champions are really annoying. If a Maneater puts the unkillable up, if he takes his turn, then we're not going to be able to kill them all because they're unkillable. The Steel Skull can cleanse and heal everybody, and the Norog is basically immune to everything. And the Dracomorph can put out an AoE defense down that'll just make us really vulnerable. So there's a lot to target here, but usually I try to go for the Maneater first if I can, because once that unkillable is up, it could be a bit of trouble. But another method you could take is maybe you can try to down the other champions, keep the Maneater alive, and once he puts this unkillable up by the time he goes, you could take advantage of using all your A1s to get all your cooldowns back up by the time you get to the boss fight. But in this case, we don't do that. We want to try to get rid of the Maneater first. So here we are going to take advantage of turn meter manipulation again. We did not land a speed decrease there, so that is a bit unfortunate. So we want to start targeting the Maneater now. So now he's stunned. I don't have to worry about him for now. So now I can change target to someone else. The Norog does put out a decent amount of damage, so we do want to try to damage him as well and control his turn meter from him taking a turn. Okay, so now we got 2 stunned. This is really good. And we can continue to rotate back around to our cooldowns. Fill our turn meters, decrease their turn meters, and just rinse and repeat. So we want to make sure this guy does not take a turn because it's going to hurt a lot, especially when we have defense down weaken on us. So this wave is controlled very nicely, and now we can just get rid of them all while trying to get all our cooldowns back up for the next fight. And now we can just A1, A1, A1 all the way to the next fight. Alright, so for this boss, for his A1 it says attacks all enemies, has a 40% chance of placing fear debuff for 1 turn, His A2 revives all dead allies with full HP and then places a sleep debuff on himself. And for the A3, attacks one enemy with 2 allies, places a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn if all allies are not dead. And allies joining the attack use their default skills. So we don't want the boss to attack with all the allies on the field because it's going to do a lot of damage. So we want to try to either stun the adds on the side. Provoke will not work against adds, just to let you know. And if we can't stun them, we want to try to control their turn meter or down them if possible. So for the first add, he attacks all enemies, and the second add attacks 1 to 4 random enemies, ignores a percentage of opponent's defense. So these adds really hurt, and you don't want them to be part of the ally attack, especially with the boss. So again, we want to try to stun them, we want to try to control their turn meters, or we want to try to get rid of them as soon as possible. Even though we know that the boss is going to revive them, that is still the best option. So once we get them down, we can focus more on the boss and try to get him down as well. So we're going to put the speed decrease on the boss there to try to control his turn meter a little bit, and we're going to slowly get rid of the adds here. And we don't want him taking a turn, so we control this turn meter as well. So we decide to use the A2 here on the add because once we down him, he won't be able to get back up because we can place a block revive. So beautiful, now he's stunned and now we can focus the targets on the boss instead. So our team just has so much turn meter manipulation going on, we're pretty much preventing the boss from ever taking a turn here. So as you can see, Armiger in a Relentless set is so good. And we're getting close here to finishing. Boom. Done. So 6 minutes and 30 seconds we were able to complete Sacred Order Faction Stage 21 3 stars for the first time ever. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found this guide or walkthrough and voiceover informative. And good luck to the rest of you that haven't finished your faction wars yet. I will continue doing this for the rest of the series, and this is going to be the second video that we have completed now, so there's still 12 factions left to go. Thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and if you enjoy my content in general, please make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you all in the next video.